We are anonymous. No faces. No flakes. No permission slips. Donald Trump may have secretly received access to an experimental drug reserved for patients with serious life-threatening conditions, and the White House's response is raising even more questions. Tonight we are talking about a story that has sent shockwaves through the worlds of medicine, government, and public accountability. According to reporting that emerged from the Health and Science publication, Stat News, Eli Lilly and the FDA reportedly granted compassionate use access to an experimental obesity drug known as retatrutide. This is not a drug that has received full approval. It remains an investigational treatment, one that has generated enormous excitement because of its remarkable weight loss results in clinical trials. Retatrutide is not just another weight loss drug. It has been described as one of the most powerful obesity treatments ever developed. Clinical data has shown weight loss approaching levels normally associated with bariatric surgery. In late-stage studies, some patients lost more than 28% of their body weight. The pharmaceutical industry has been watching closely because many analysts believe it could become one of the biggest medical breakthroughs in obesity treatment. But that's not what makes this story explosive. The explosive part is how one person allegedly gained access to it. The FDA's Compassionate Use Program, also known as Expanded Access, is not designed for convenience. It exists for exceptional circumstances. It allows patients suffering from serious or immediately life-threatening conditions to receive investigational treatments when approved options are insufficient and medical need is urgent. It is an extraordinary pathway reserved for extraordinary situations. And according to reports, only one individual received this special access to retatrutide through this route. That individual was reportedly a 79-year-old man. The request was allegedly submitted in April by a senior clinician at the National Institutes of Health. The medical justification reportedly cited refractory obesity, obstructive sleep apnea, and pulmonary hypertension. Pulmonary hypertension is a potentially life-threatening condition involving elevated blood pressure in the lungs. The combination of these conditions reportedly attracted attention from senior health officials due to the unusual nature of the request. Immediately, speculation erupted. Why? Because Donald Trump was 79 years old at the time the request was reportedly made. Because Trump has publicly struggled with weight issues for years. Because he has repeatedly shown interest in obesity medications. And because the patient was reportedly described as someone with significant connections and access. Again, none of this proves anything, but it created a political firestorm. Stat News reportedly asked the White House multiple times whether the patient was Donald Trump. The responses only intensified the speculation. Instead of directly answering questions regarding obstructive sleep apnea, pulmonary hypertension, or the identity of the patient, officials reportedly redirected inquiries toward existing medical summaries. Later, a White House spokesperson publicly stated that the application was not for President Trump. Yet by then the story had already exploded across social media, political circles, and healthcare communities. And here's where things become politically toxic. Because if there is one thing that infuriates ordinary Americans, it is the perception that the powerful operate under a different set of rules. Videos showing Trump appearing fatigued, struggling through events, or closing his eyes during public meetings have circulated widely online. Political opponents point to late-night social media activity, followed by reports of daytime exhaustion. They argue that the pattern raises concerns about physical and cognitive stamina. What is the real state of his health? The reports surrounding the compassionate use request become even more intriguing when considering the listed medical conditions. Obstructive sleep apnea can contribute to severe fatigue. Pulmonary hypertension can become life-threatening if left untreated. Obesity significantly increases health risks across multiple systems of the body, and according to the reporting, the patient had already been treated with tirzepatide, another Eli Lilly obesity medication, for approximately a year, but had achieved only moderate weight loss results. The patient was reportedly considered a poor candidate for bariatric surgery due to age and related medical complications. Those details paint a picture of someone facing significant health challenges. The identity remains unknown, but the circumstances remain extraordinary. What makes this story even stranger is Trump's own public fascination with weight loss drugs. At one point, he jokingly called out individuals around him regarding whether they were taking obesity medications. The moment generated headlines because it revealed how common these treatments had become among political and business elites. Now, Suddenly an unidentified 79-year-old man with elite-level access receives special approval for one of the most powerful obesity drugs in development. You can understand why people started connecting dots. And then there is the larger issue: transparency. The American public has repeatedly been told that presidential health matters because presidents make decisions affecting hundreds of millions of people. Medical disclosures are supposed to build trust. They are supposed to reassure the public. Instead, stories like this create uncertainty. When officials refuse straightforward answers, speculation fills the vacuum. When information appears, incomplete rumors multiply. When powerful institutions appear reluctant to explain themselves, public confidence erodes. That is exactly what we are witnessing now. And let's talk about retatrutide itself. This isn't some miracle potion. It remains experimental. Researchers have reported impressive results, but like all medications, it comes with risks, side effects, and unanswered questions. Some trial participants experienced adverse reactions significant enough to discontinue treatment. The FDA has not yet completed the approval process. That is why compassionate use is supposed to be exceptional. The pathway exists because certain patients face circumstances so serious that waiting is not an option. Which raises the obvious question: who was important enough to receive this level of access? Why did the request reportedly attract attention from top officials? Why was only one patient involved? And why did the story generate immediate speculation about the most powerful man in America? These questions remain unanswered. But the controversy reveals something larger than the identity of a single patient. It reveals a crisis of trust. Trust in government, trust in healthcare institutions, trust in political leadership, trust in transparency itself. And Donald Trump sits at the center of that storm because his political career has been built on contradiction. He presents himself as a champion of ordinary Americans, while constantly benefiting from privileges unavailable to ordinary Americans. He claims to fight elites while living among them. He attacks institutions while relying on them. And every new controversy deepens the divide between image and reality. If the patient was not Trump, then transparency could quickly end the speculation. If the patient was Trump, Americans deserve honest answers about why such extraordinary access was granted. Either way, silence only fuels suspicion. We are anonymous. Share this video. Subscribe for more investigations. We are watching. Expect us.